Hey guys, Al here, Vitalized Seed. Hope everybody's doing well. So today I wanted to do a quick video on, so why NitroBoost? That's our spring-summer mix. So if you're in the 1-2 system, you'd have carbon load planted, and then you'd be planting our NitroBoost. This is obviously, I don't know, midsummer time. You see the sorghum in there. But what else is in this mix that's going to help aid in the not only the feeding of wildlife, but also soil health? So you have sun hemp, sunflowers, buckwheat, spring barley, beans. You have forage beans, cowpeas, forage peas, crimson clover, rape, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. There's Sudan grass, etc. So there's like 14 species in here, but the key is that it's balanced. So one of the big issues that a lot of people have is they just want to do a mix, but it's not really balanced, and it's really not balanced when it comes to the next planting or the subsequent plantings thereafter when they have a focus on soil health. That's why I'm not a big fan, and I've tried to correct myself because I use it quite often still, but to just say, yeah, it's a soil building mix, I don't necessarily like that idea, because in order to build soil and build soil health and soil fertility, it's really a long-term commitment. It's not, a singular mix or singular species. So what you're going to have when you have a mix like our NitroBoost is you're going to have a lot of legumes, hence the point nitro, but you're going to have balance with non-nitrogen fixing crops, so non-legumes. So that's why we have the rape and the radish, the rape and the sorghum and the Sudan. We want to be able to capture that nitrogen that's going to be leaching out of the system. So nitrogen goes through what's called the nitrogen cycle, and it's going to hit nitrate. And if you don't have a living root there that's going to grab that nitrate, it's going to slip out of your system. So from those decaying brassicas, as it goes from an organic source of nitrogen, becomes an inorganic source of nitrogen, and eventually into nitrate, which is an inorganic N. Don't get confused. Inorganic Ns are naturally occurring in our environment. However, it becomes nitrate, and if there's not a root there, it's going to slip out. So we want to capture that as well as fix additional nitrogen so that we can capitalize on our fall planting of carbon load with being able to reduce our needs for synthetic fertilizers. Just so you all can see, we were getting ready to plant NitroBoost last year. You can see the diversity in the mix. There's also, I forgot to even mention, there's American joint vetch. I don't know if I mentioned sun hemp, but there's also sun hemp in there, etc. So there's quite a few species in there that are going to help both in nitrogen fixation and also feeding a heck of a lot of wildlife. Here was a picture I've used in the past, but this is actually an old logging deck, and you can see the roots that are down in there, and you can actually see the nitrogen nodules on the side of there. This is just a quick shovelful I did, and I broke a lot of the roots off, but that's also why we have things in there like Sudan grass and sorghum and the spring barley. Really good fibrous root systems. They're going to help to break up that compaction in that soil profile, as well as some of the legumes and things that we're going to use to stimulate additional biological activity in the soil. And this is just an example, which I'm really proud of this. This has only been in the system about 3 years since we bought this or have been using it on this part of the farm, maybe 5, I can't recall. But not a whole long, and this was an old logging deck and really low pH. And as you can see from the structure of the soil, it's coming along, and it's coming along really quickly. As with all mixes, it's really good to make sure you put up an exclusion fence. The reason I wanted to show this field, though, is obviously outside the exclusion fence was definitely hit hard, but you can see some clovers and sorghum and things like that in there. But inside the exclusion fence looks fantastic. The reason I'm highlighting this is because this was actually a spray and broadcast method. So a lot of times guys think that every field that I plant is with a no-till drill, and that's just not the case. So this was a situation where we went in, we burned everything off with herbicide, and we threw the NitroBoost in. And although it did get hit pretty hard by deer, this is only like a 1/16 of an acre probably, maybe a little bit more better than that, but it's pretty small. And it's used to reduce some of the browse pressure on some of our other fields. So I'm very happy with the results here, and basically was able to go in there and then plant carbon load just a couple weeks after this picture was taken, and was able to reduce browse pressure on my larger field. And then just here's another quick example of kind of the diversity in that plot and in the mix. Obviously you can see beans and peas and grains and sorghums and sun hemp, etc. And what are we doing with all this? Well, again, the buckwheat, working on phosphorus. The diversity in root structures are going to be feeding bacterial and fungal relationships in the soil that are going to be solubilizing more nutrients, And then, of course, your biomass, when you're planting into this, you're laying all of this back down flat with your carbon load going in. So you have those different levels of fertility that are going to be released over time. So some of the higher carbon, like the sorghum, is going to be a slower release. And then, of course, your beans and peas are going to release a lot faster to feed those brassicas and grains and such in the carbon load right off the bat. And then just here's a quick ad. We're actually running on Facebook, but this is one of our customers had sent us this picture. I absolutely love it with the sunflowers and the sorghum and the sun hemp growing in. But again, as you see, that sunflower deep tap, grabbing nutrients, breaking compaction, the sun hemp fixing a ton of nitrogen. And the idea is the same. So that's why, guys, it's a really good idea if you're interested in reducing soil or increasing soil fertility and reducing your need for fertilizer, getting in on the 1-2 system. All of this does come with our Seed Armor Plus Humix, which is a Seed Armor Plus, we call it. It's a free inoculant. It has rhizobium bacteria. It's a wide blend or a broad spectrum blend, so it's going to cover all of your legumes to ensure that you're getting the right bacteria in the soil to maximize nitrogen fixation and nutrient uptake. And then, of course, the humic element, which is going to help with the nutrient retention, plant germination, and can even have a faster growth response on the plants once they're germinating. So that comes in free. It's inside every bag of seed that is ordered, or if it's bought from our distributor, it's already in that bag. So those are some reasons as to why you should consider using the Vitalized Seed 1-2 system. In particular, if you haven't used it before, check us out for this spring for the NitroBoost. We're taking pre-orders now. We'll be shipping here in about a month and a half or so, maybe a little bit less, maybe about March. So get outside, enjoy the outdoors, guys, and check us out at vitalizedseed.com.